This is Kurt Taville with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Tony Bellew. Get this, Tony Bellew makes his Moses versus Dillian Whyte prediction. He says he's beaten some top fighters. Tony Bellew's been honest with his views on young Moses and his chances against Dillian Whyte. And this is what he had to say. He said, quote, he says, "I think it's over inside 4 rounds. I don't know why I think that, because Dillian hasn't showed, well, he has shown signs. The Teta fight was not very good. A man is only as good as his last fight, and you've got to judge him on that. I think Dillian Whyte is really good, and I think Dillian Whyte is a really good fighter, and he was a force to be reckoned with in the heavyweight division, but I think every fighter has a window, and I think his window has passed, which I'm sorry for. It's a shame. He's beat some really good fighters, and he's been in some really hard scrapes and scraps, but he's shown he's worse for wear for them scraps now." And let me counterpunch. Based on what Tony Bellew is saying is that, hey, he's low-hanging fruit for Moses Itauma. He feels that because the experience is not beneficial for him now, the experience warranted wear and tear, damage, like an old whore. No, seriously, I think what Tony's saying is Dillian Whyte's punch resistance is gone. And to add to that, I think that Tony is true. I think I think unfortunately, it's not like he wants or wishes this upon Dillian Whyte. I think Dillian will get chinned, and when he gets caught, I think everything will be revealed at that point. I can't fault him for thinking that way, because Dillian Whyte, we found out about the uppercut. We've seen him hurt against Jermaine Franklin. Jermaine Franklin hit him with a right hand, and that right hand put him on Queer Street. You know what I mean? For a bit. And luckily, the punch that landed from Franklin was at the end of the round, so he was able to recover. But who's to say he'll have that opportunity against a young lion? And I've seen Moses Itauma just today. And I could say this about Moses. Moses is looking good. I think, he's with a good trainer for now, Ben Davison. I think he should move on. I think his elusiveness, his speed will be a good defense ranger. Not the best, but I think it will help him with his defense. And he looks good. He looks like he's ready. He looks like he's being prepared, or really prepared. I would like to see him with his chin checked, though. So hopefully this fight will show us that. But what Tony Bellew is saying, I think he's speaking from experience. I think Tony Bellew is a guy that knows, like, when it's time to call it a day, it's time to call it a day. And I do agree. I think Dillian Whyte had a good chance 4 or 5 years ago, but those days are over. But keep in mind, I think the reason why Moses Itauma versus Dillian Whyte was made anyway is because the same thing that Tony Bellew said and believes now is the same thing that they thought when making the damn fight in the first place, with a younger Moses versus an older Dillian, So you just kind of take it for what it is. But I think it'll still be competitive. I hope to see some oohs and ahs in this fight. I will have my breakdown early next week, and I will give you my prediction as well. You guys tell me what you think of Tony Bellew and his prediction on Moses Itauma versus Dillian Whyte. It won't last 4 rounds. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!